no collusion. No obstruction. And I'm 100% willing to speak under oath about what really happened with Comey, says Trump. President Donald Trump said Friday that James Comey's testimony yesterday absolved him of colluding with the Russians to disrupt the election and did not show that he obstructed justice. He also said he did not ask for Comey's loyalty and that he never asked him to halt an FBI investigation into Mike Flynn, relying on his former FBI director's credibility and tearing it down again whenever it suited him. Trump said during a news conference that he'd be willing to attest to his version of the story under oath and that he'd tell the Department of Justice's special counsel the same thing. Trump's battle with Comey dominated a joint presser, where he played out the suggestion that he has tapes of their conversations. The president also contended that Democrats made up charges of collusion against him to undermine his election. He seemed to revel in the attention Comey's blockbuster hearing was getting him as he took questions from Romanian and U.S. press. "Well, I'll tell you about that maybe sometime in the very near future," he told the Washington Times' Dave Boyer after the newspaperman asked him for audio evidence. Trump surveyed reporters seated on his side of the news conference before he settled on an ABC News correspondent during a second round of questioning from American journalists. The reporter, Jonathan Karl, probed Trump on the tapes, his willingness to testify and a set of tweets this morning that accused Comey of making false statements. Their extended back and forth was interrupted by other reporters shouting when to Trump in unison. "Are there tapes, sir?" one journalist shouted out. Another asked if he could see them first. "Oh, you're going to be very disappointed when you hear the answer. Don't worry," Trump responded. Comey said Thursday that he'd welcome Trump releasing the tapes, if he actually has them. "Lordy, I hope there are tapes," Comey said. Trump would not be definitive in his comments Friday, after Karl said he seemed to be hinting that he has them. "I'm not hinting about anything. I'll tell you about it over a short period of time," Trump said. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer told reporters awaiting the president's departure to New Jersey later on the South Lawn that Trump would answer questions about the tape when he's ready. The president stopped short of saying that Comey lied under oath at the hearing and did not come back to the mic in the Rose Garden when DailyMail.com asked for clarity from him. Comey had accused the Trump administration of spreading lies about him and bluntly contended that the president asked him to interfere in an investigation of Russian ties to ex-National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. "I didn't say that," Trump told Karl on Friday. Karl tried to nail him down on the lying he says Comey did, which would amount to a federal felony, but Trump sidestepped his question. "I didn't say that. I mean, I will tell you, I didn't say that," he repeated. "And there'd be nothing wrong if I did say it according to everybody that I've read today. But I did not say that." Comey also claimed that Trump asked for his loyalty, something else the president and his lawyers have said isn't true. Trump said he'd be willing to provide testimony to that effect under oath. 100%, he said. "I hardly know the man. I'm not going to say I want you to pledge allegiance. Who would do that?" He said he'd be willing to talk to DOJ's special counsel, Robert Mueller, too. "I would be glad to tell him exactly what I just told you." Trump told Boyer, the first American reporter, that he wants to get back to running our great country and his focus is on jobs, trade deficits and international conflicts. But yesterday showed no collusion, no obstruction. "We are doing really well. That was an excuse by the Democrats who lost an election that some people think they shouldn't have lost," Trump said. Rehashing his Electoral College victory, Trump said, "You have to run up the whole East Coast and you have to win everything as a Republican. And that's just what we did. So it was just an excuse. But we were very, very happy." And frankly, James Comey confirmed a lot of what I said, and some of the things that he said just weren't true. A Senate Intelligence Committee member said Friday that Mueller will need to depose Trump to get him under oath. "I think that's ultimately what will happen," Senator Jack Reed, a Democrat, told CNN. "I would expect at some point, not right away, but at some point, that Mr. Mueller would feel he has to depose the president," said Reid, a leading voice on military matters as the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, The Hill reported. Trump declared war on his fired FBI director Friday, shredding Comey's testimony to the Senate Intelligence Committee as full of lies and sicking his personal lawyers on him. The president, who is usually active each morning on Twitter, had remained eerily quiet before Comey's testimony and in the hours after. He let it rip on Friday morning. The president proclaimed at 6 a.m. on Twitter, "Despite so many false statements and lies, total and complete vindication. And wow, Comey is a leaker." Fox News then reported that Trump's legal team was preparing complaints against Comey that it will file with the Department of Justice's Inspector General and the Senate Judiciary Committee. The president's outside counsel singled out a disclosure Thursday from Comey's testimony that he gave memos on his encounters with Trump to a friend for the purpose of leaking them. Trump lawyer Mark Kasowitz said Comey's conduct should be investigated. The president broke his silence Friday with a tweet that echoed the points Kasowitz made after Comey's appearance. The Republican president was not under investigation. He did not direct Comey to end a probe into Flynn, and Comey is a leaker who gave an account of his conversations with the president to a lawyer friend with the intent of getting them into a news outlet. He shared a tweet later from a legal scholar that said Comey did not make a plausible case for obstruction of justice. "We must distinguish crimes from sins," Alan Dershowitz wrote. The president stopped short of saying that Comey lied under oath at the hearing, which occurred a month after Trump fired him. "It's a federal felony to lie in court testimony, and Comey could be subject to criminal charges and jail time if his claims were disproven." Trump's message Friday was that he was coming after Comey for something he can prove. The former law enforcement official revealed information from their private conversations before Trump decided to waive executive privilege. Comey testified Thursday that gave memos he authored on the discussions to a friend to disseminate after Trump claimed in a tweet that he possibly had tapes of their conversations. Republicans on the Intelligence Committee argued Thursday that it may not have been within Comey's authority to share his FBI work product. He said the documents were his personal property and he leaked them as a defense mechanism. The White House referred all questions on the matter to Kasowitz on Thursday and at an off-camera briefing except one. "I can definitively say the president's not a liar, and I think it's frankly insulting that that question would be asked," spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders said. Kasowitz swatted down several of Comey's claims in a statement that afternoon, including his assertion that Trump demanded his loyalty. Trump took to Twitter on Friday to hammer Comey further. He followed up on his Comey assault with a second tweet, thanking the media, specifically Fox News, for its coverage, saying, "Great reporting by @FoxandFriends and so many others. Thank you." The tweets came more than 20 hours after Comey's testimony began on Thursday morning. At his first public appearance since his abrupt firing last month, Comey laid bare months of White House distrust and revealed that he'd orchestrated the public release of information about his private conversations with the president in an effort to protect himself and further DOJ's investigation. Comey's testimony at the hugely anticipated hearing that captured the country's attention provided a gripping account of his interactions with Trump and underscored the discord that had soured their relationship. He portrayed Trump as a chief executive dismissive of the FBI's independence and made clear that he interpreted Trump's request to end an investigation into Flynn as an order coming from the president. Comey said in his testimony that he leaked his accounts of conversations with Trump to the public in hopes that it would prompt the appointment of a special counsel, which did happen, to oversee the investigation into Russia's alleged meddling in the 2016 presidential election. The conversations included one in which Comey said he believed Trump had pressured him in February to drop a probe into Flynn. Comey said he had asked a close friend who was a Columbia Law School professor to get his story out after Trump fired him as director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation on May 9. Daniel Richman, a professor of criminal law at Columbia, confirmed to Reuters he was the person referred to in Comey's testimony. Richman, who is listed as an advisor to Comey in his official biography on the school's website, did not respond to further requests for comments. During his time in office, Trump has raged against the press and its use of anonymous sources. Following Comey's testimony, Trump's personal lawyer, Kasowitz, sharply criticized Comey for leaking what he called privileged communications between the president and the then FBI director. Today Mr. Comey admitted that he unilaterally and surreptitiously made unauthorized disclosures to the press of privileged communications with the president, Kasowitz said. He tried to link Comey with others in the government who he said had selectively and illegally leaked classified information to undermine the administration and suggested that Comey might have broken the law. We will leave it the appropriate authorities to determine whether this leak should be investigated along with all those others being investigated, the Trump lawyer said. Trump will take questions from reporters on Friday at a joint news conference with visiting Romanian President Klaus Iohannis. It's the first press conference he's had since a May 18 one where he told a reporter asking if he tried to interfere with the Flynn probe, "No. No. Next question." The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., suggested Thursday evening that Comey's testimony could be seen as a vindication for the president. Speaking on Sean Hannity's Fox show on Thursday, Don Jr. claimed that his father's legal troubles were over. He called the FBI probe into the Trump's administration's connections with Russia a 10-month witch hunt. He said that the investigation was an attempt to distract his father from getting things done in the White House. "This has been a 10-month witch hunt," Don Jr. said. "This is the only thing that they had on Trump. This is what they did to distract him from being able to get the stuff done that he was ultimately elected to do. And I think now that this is all past, he can go back to doing what he promised he was gonna do. There's no clouds. Nothing getting in his way. There's no obstructionist." He added, he can go back to what he said he was going to do for the American people, getting Americans back to work, putting America first, and getting us out of these stupid deals that America seems to pay for and everyone seems to benefit from but us.